Hi everyone, this is Vivek Srivastav. Welcome to my channel, Journey of an Entrepreneur. Today we have a special guest episode with Mohit Kumar joining us from MoroEsports. And MoroEsports is quite amazing because it has achieved profitability in as little as 11 months. So I'm sure we'll learn a lot from Mohit and get a lot of valuable insights. So thank you, Mohit, for joining us and welcome. So tell us a little bit about your background and your startup.
Hi Vivek, hi. Thanks for invite. So my name is Mohit and I'm the founder and editor-in-chief of MoroEsports. I've been running this startup for last 2.5 years now. And MoroEsports is a news media outlet which is currently being operated from Chandigarh, India. We have this team of 7+ people currently, and we are quite enthusiastic about gaming and esports in general.
Yeah, that's great. I myself was into gaming from back when I was 6 years old. So I've quite enthusiastic about it myself. Of course, nowadays I hardly get any time to do that, but I still keep track of some of the games that are coming out there, some of the big names. So tell me, how did your entrepreneurial journey start? Like, when did you realize ki you wanted to do a startup as opposed to doing a job and rising up the ranks in a company?
Yeah, so back in 2019, right? So I started working as an content writer. So I started working as a crypto, and I used to write about cryptocurrency on a platform. Then shifted from cryptocurrency to Sportskeeda. So I joined Sportskeeda as a journalist. So I worked there for like more than 1.5 year as an esports and gaming journalist. So there is also an interesting story, why how I landed up at Sportskeeda. So I back in like 2018, 17, I guess. I used to be a writer on Quora. So I used to write a lot of answers regarding esports gaming, or in live channels. So one day, out of sudden, I got an invite from Mayank Bora, who used to work as a esports and gaming content manager at Sportskeeda.
Uh-huh.
So he, somewhere he called me, he liked my answers, and he saw me, like, you are a great fit for Sportskeeda. Why don't you come and join for Sportskeeda? So I accepted it because I was very young at that time. I might be around like 19 or 20.
Nice,
So I joined there and worked there for more than 1.5 years. I
nice.
covered a lot of tournaments in India and globally. For Sportskeeda, gave them a lot of traffic in esports and gaming, and that's how I started off.
That's great. Yeah, yeah. It's always great to get involved in that which you like and you
Yeah,
have passion for, and then the job is not difficulty; it's like fun.
yes,
But one thing I'm a little curious about. See, I got into gaming a little bit earlier. You know, the Space Invader Pac-Man days, which you probably don't even you're
yeah,
familiar with those games. But
yeah.
so the esports, tell us, what is the difference between the esports version, part of gaming as opposed to like the regular games like Diablo or Warcraft or that kind of thing. So, I mean, I know a little bit, but I'm asking this also for the sake of the viewers who may not be familiar. Because, I think esports is more these player versus player, five versus five, like League of Legends or Valorant and all that sort of thing. So, can you, and why did you get into esports as opposed to, say, the other genre of games?
Yeah, I just missed the last part of your questions.
No,
Can you please repeat?
yeah, yeah. What I was asking was, tell us what the difference is between esports versus just regular games. Like Assassin's Creed or Diablo, Warcraft, and then how come you personally got into esports as opposed to the other type of gaming? The
Yeah,
digital gaming.
esports in general is more competitive, right?
Right.
So be it Valorant, Fortnite, or be it PUBG Mobile, or a lot of other games like Free Fire and tons of other games. So so esports in general is a bit of more competitive, right, from the general gaming.
Uh-huh.
So, for example, in general gaming, like we have this a lot of other games like Candy Crush and a lot of other mobile games, right?
Mhm.
But they are not too much categorized as an esports. They are
Right.
more of an categorized as a gaming,
Right.
yeah, thing. So
So I think
and
it seems like this. It's more organized. The world of esports is a little more organized because I'll tell you way back when I was in college, Doom came out and Castle Wolfenstein, like the not Castle Wolfenstein 3D, but the old like very pixely thing. And
yeah,
we would play against each other, but there was no organization. Like there was this big competition and people are getting cash prizes and all that was not there. we
yeah,
just we just played each other for fun. So I think possibly esports is just much more organized, and all you have all these very organized events and whatnot going on. But yeah, so personally, why did you choose that? I mean, I presumably you played all types of games, right? So did you is there something more addictive about the esports type of games?
yeah. I think for me, gaming it all started. I was randomly playing a lot of games. In my childhood. So
Right.
I started off with video games. Which starts from like early days, right? So we used to buy video games at that age, right?
Yeah.
So it all started from that, and then we slowly shifted to the mobile gaming,
Can I ask
and we used to play.
which game was your old like first kind of thing that you first video game that you
Yeah,
played?
I think it was, to be very honest, it was Super Mario, right? Because
Nice. Yeah.
back
Yeah.
then,
Oh yeah.
we were very old, and it all started with Super Mario.
Nice.
Initially, it started with mobile games, right? Snakes and all that games. Then it later on shifted to Super Mario, then Contra, and then a lot of
Right. Right.
Taken and a lot of stuff.
Yes, 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 yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. I remember those days, man. Oh. I started, like I said, just a little bit of curiosity for viewers is video games and those, arcades where you go and you put money in the machine and you play. They came to India when I was like around 6 years old, which makes it 1976. And
okay,
and what was there was just very simple stuff. This Space Invaders, Star Wars, and this racing game where you put like there was an accelerator pedal in the game itself, and you put your foot there and accelerated, and there was a steering wheel in the main machine thing. And those were just the three games. That's it. There was no other thing. Even Pac-Man did not come. It came, I think, 4 or 5 years later. Pac-Man came, and then
okay,
after that, there was all your stuff. So anyway, so
yeah.
so coming back to your entrepreneurial journey, so you worked at Sportskida, and I'm sure that must have been quite a good experience. Learned a lot and all that. So, what drove you to the next step, like that? Eventually, you started your own company.
Yeah. Okay, so for sports kid, I was working, for 1.5 years, and then I, you know, covered a lot of tournaments, and I got to discover a lot of things. I interviewed a lot of esports personalities also. So and later on, I realized like how sports kid works, right? So how they, post the content, how they generate the revenue, and back in those days also, I was very keen towards entrepreneurship because I used to read a lot of books on entrepreneurship. I used to watch a lot of TV series. I
Wow.
used to watch TV of pictures at that time.
Huh.
So and there are a lot of other movies as well. The Social Network and all those had a very good influence on me, right?
Huh.
So I started, I started my journey afterward. So
Huh.
I used to work on sports data, and then I got to know like, there is something we can also build up, right? So I asked a few colleagues from sports data, why don't you come and join me, in the new ventures so that we can kickstart something. But they told me like, no, this is not something very easy, and it takes a lot of years and a lot of efforts to do. So we are pretty much happy, with our job at Sports Keda, and we are not looking forward to build something. So I was very keen about entrepreneurship. I was very keen about numbers, the starters, the back end, the tech part, and all of the stuff. So I when I was about to quit Sports Keda, I a registered domain called MoroEsports.com, and the domain was there on the web for more than 3 months. So it was left there, and I did nothing on the domain. So when I left Sportskeeda, I thought of why don't I try, try to use my expertise and experience that I have gained at Sportskeeda, and why don't I start, on my new venture. So that's how it all started.
Okay, okay, great, great, great.
Yeah.
So, like, let me put it this way. I myself have been wanting to do my own startup for the longest time. It's only now that finally it's all coming together and all that.
Yeah.
How, we determined ki, okay, previous, what we spoke about was your decision to get into that. But then what about the logistics of it? All of that, like the money, the people, the this thing, all the rest of it. Because everyone dreams of doing a startup, but to actually do it is a whole other thing. So, um, why don't we, maybe we just start with money, if you, or the finances. Did you do it out of
Yeah.
pocket, or what happened?
So yeah, so Moro Esports is basically a bootstrap startup, right? So we
Okay.
did not raise any fund from anyone.
Huh.
It all started with a few bucks in our pocket, right? It all started with our pocket money,
Huh.
uh, basically, right? Because at that time, when I was in my college, right, I was in the second year of my graduation when I started Moro Esports. When I registered Moro Esports as a domain,
Huh.
and we did not like we had no big picture in our mind, right? It was all just for fun, to be very
Okay.
honest, because
Nice.
we used to play a lot of games, at
Yeah.
that time, the BGMI, which is currently VGMI, that at that time it was PUBG Mobile, right?
Right.
So
Yes.
PUBG Mobile, yeah, make it seen in India, right? It had a lot of, boom in the industry. So that's how we all started off. So I started it off as a hobby, right? And then I figured out like this is something that interests me more, and this is something I'm very crazy about. So why don't I work for it? So that's how Moro Esports started, and that's how we
Right.
did our initial part, right, with our pocket money, and then a friend of mine joined as the in the technical part. So he was handling the back end of the website. I was handling more of the front end, the brands, the marketing, and all those stuff, in general about the content also.
Great, great. Yeah, I've always felt that those are the best startups, and they tend to have the best chance of success also, where you do
Yeah,
it because you like it and it's your hobby, it's your fun, it's your passion.
yeah,
It's, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Even some of these big companies, they started off that way only, that it wasn't really this, oh, I'm going to do this startup and, get rich and all. They just did it out of either fun or a need,
yeah.
Okay, so how about like technical challenges? Did you, you know, the website development, the hosting, the this, that? Did you have, how was it challenging, or was it kind of, not that bad a bigger problem?
No, it was not challenging, to be very
Right,
honest, because we were from the technical background, right?
right, right.
But it became a challenge when we were getting a lot of traffic.
Yeah.
So that's how the real thing started off.
So can you
I still
act?
remember,
Yeah. No,
yeah.
go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I still remember, when we started off, things were very smooth. We were getting around
Right,
20, 30 users
right,
per day, and we used to refresh our page, multiple times in a day, just to see, the numbers coming from 20 to 30 to 30 to 100. That's how,
right.
the interest came up, right?
Yeah.
So that's how crazy we were for numbers, right?
Yeah.
Because I still remember, I was in my hometown in Dharamshala, Himachal Pradesh. I used to work at night from 12 a.m. to 6 in the morning. So what I did, I for 3 to 4 hours, I used to refresh the page only just to see the numbers going from 20 to 30 to 30 to 40,
Right.
because that was crazy stuff, right? Because we were very passionate about the stuff, and the manifestation were all about the uh, startup growing big, right?
Right.
Or we doing our best, right? So yeah, that's how it all was. Initially, for the technical point of view, things were very smooth, but as soon as we were hitting around 1 lakh traffic per month, 2 lakh traffic per month, then 3 lakh traffic per month, and
Yeah.
then close to 4 lakh traffic per month. Out of sudden, website crashed because we
Right.
were on the lighter part of lighter versions of hosting, right? So
Right.
initially we were on the shared hosting, then we shifted to the cloud hosting. So that's how the journey was.
Nice, nice. Yeah. So, can you actually? I'm sure a lot of viewers would be interested to know some of the ways you handle heavy traffic, right? So, I mean, obviously, one simple thing is obviously you increase your hosting, like
Yeah.
server size, or have multiple servers or whatever that kind of thing. But were there other things you had to do, like change the code of the website itself, so
Yes.
that yeah,
Yes. Yeah, so initially, the website there was not too much of the coding work, right? Because we were
right.
on the plugin, we purchased a plugin basically, right? But we wanted to make a lot of changes to the website interface and the backend, how backend works, because when you get something, you have to work on that, right? So we redesign our front end, right? A bit of code in the backend, so that's how we started out. We were new to PHP at that time, so we had no clue about how PHP works. So that's how we figured out, how PHP works. Then there are a lot of other things, right,
Right.
in the back end, about the base codes, and how the critical, how critical the index time is, right? So that's how it all
Right.
went.
Nice, nice, nice. So that's great. I think probably the most amazing thing about your story is the way the numbers went very large, very, very quickly. But before we get to that, because I have a lot of questions for in that area, and I'm sure that the viewers will really want to know that because everyone wants to achieve growth like that. Even
Yeah.
I do. I mean, I'm going to be launching in about a month or so, and I just would love to have that kind of a growth. But before that, let me just ask one other thing before we get into the whole growth and marketing side of it, which is legal issues. Did you run into any legal issues, trademark, copyright? Because that is something in today's world, probably not so much in India, but in other countries and all, especially US, legal is very, very important matter, and you need to have all that covered very, very properly. So, did you have any issues, or did you kind of not even worry about any of that, things like trademark and copyright and all that?
Yeah, I think luckily, with my experience working at Sportskeeda, and after Sportskeeda, I also worked for another website, First Sports, right, as an esports lead. So I used to, manage a team of interns there. So I was quite familiar with the copyright thing, how things work, how should we not, get into the trap of copyright and all the stuff. So with that experience in hand,
Right.
we kind of managed to,
Good.
get ourselves free from the copyright issues. But yeah, in the legal terms, of course, for any startups, legal terms are very
Right.
important, right? So I had a lot of friends, from the law background, who I
Okay,
met,
good.
in the gaming industry also. So they used to work as a gaming and esports lawyers. So yeah, that's how
Nice.
I figured out and resolved some of our issues, right? But that was not too much of issues, right? So
Right.
legal term on the legal point, MoroEsports was quite comfortable and smooth.
Okay, cool. Now let's get to the really interesting part, the growth and all of that. Now, before we even get into that specific side of it, what really blows me away is there's so many existing websites, right? International. I don't know how many
Yeah,
Indian-based websites there are, but international, so many. GameSpot, IGN, there's that Games Radar, and those are the ones I go to when I want to look at a game review or want to know when the game is launching, the
yeah,
release
yeah.
date. So, did that not sort of worry you that hey, there's all this competition? I'm getting into something where there's already all these other existing websites.
Yeah. So yeah, when I was in sports Sportscada, I got to know a lot of other names as well. Be it AFK Gaming, or there were a lot of other competitors in the market at that time. So I got to know about all of them. But when I started off Moro Esports, then I got to know the real thing, right? So how many competitors are there in the industry? what are the numbers, how they are taking things forward. But surprisingly, even even before PUBG Mobile came into India, right, and there was a boom in the Indian gaming industry. There are a lot of other news media outlets who are working very passionately. So I would love to name AFK Gaming for that. They used to cover a lot of Dota 2 and the other things. Way before PUBG make its scene in the Indian gaming scenes. And later on, when I started off MoroEsports, I got to know about other names as well, right? So be it gaming on phone. So gaming on phone is a startup, is another startup by one of my friend,
Right.
Tosif. So he used to work at Sportskeeda, somewhere around 2019. When I was working there, he was also there in that time frame, right? So he also started off gaming on phone. Basically, it's a news media outlet for mobile games, right? And recently, they have been nominated for the esports awards, which happened globally, right? Uh, I hope you understand, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
Asset won some of the awards, right? Soul Asset, and Gaming on Phone was also nominated for the same. In fact, AFK Gaming and Gaming on Phone were the only outlets from India who were nominated for the esports awards
Wow.
recently. So yeah, it's fair to say there are a lot of Indians names in the gaming, in the esports and gaming scene
Right.
in India and across the world.
So, but what made you think, there was space for another one like your startup could survive in where there's so many others, including Indians?
Yeah. So initially we were not actually bothering about
Right.
the other names, to be very honest. I know there were a lot of there are a lot of players in the market already which are dominating the scene. Which are dominating the gaming and esports news media section, right? But we were not bothered about them because we were very passionate about our
Right.
thing, our stuff. And when we were making our way into the market, then we got to know they are names, right?
Okay.
So initially, I remember, 3 to 4 names, and when I get into the scene, when I started off more esports, then we were, doing the things pretty smoothly, right? Then we later on figured out like there are a lot of competitors, and this thing is very real, right? But I think the other outlets are also doing their thing right. The startups are also doing their things right, and we are also making our way to the scene. We are not too much to the scene, but we are making our scene. We are making our way to the scene, and we are creating content from our point of view, right? So what we are expertise of, we are contributing. At the end of the day, we all are working on the same track, and we are all contributing to the Indian gaming industry,
Would
and
you,
I think that's a big thing.
right? Would you say basically you're ultimately content creators? That's really what your product is. I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, you can say that. Like, we are more of a news website, right?
Right.
So we are actually creating content because we are just not limited to the website. We are also marking our ways to Instagram and YouTube. And recently,
Right.
today is the S12 Gaming Festival. So surprisingly, with our efforts and dedication, Moro Esports is also invited to the same event, and our social media manager is there. He's covering all the content from Bangalore.
It's happening in Bangalore, the event.
Yeah, it's happening today in Bangalore. Yeah, so
Nice,
there are a
nice.
lot of names like Naman Mathur, Mortal, Edwin Thug, and a lot of people from SA12 family. So
Nice.
they all came, at one place, and it's more of a fun event. So yeah, Moro Esports is also
All
part of it.
right, right. I forget. E3, I think, is what it is in the US. There's Comic Con in the US, but that is more, entertainment and comics and these kind of Marvel movie type stuff.
Yeah,
And then the gaming thing is, I think, E3, if I'm not mistaken. I
yeah,
forget now. Yeah. So possibly this is the E3 of India now. Yeah. Because yeah, I
yeah,
mean the gaming market in India is huge or potentially huge. I think as more and
yeah.
more people get, access to computers and internet and strong, powerful mobiles, then there's this huge population that is not gaming that will suddenly start gaming, and then
Yes.
and then it'll explode. I mean, it's going to be, yeah, that's great. So tell me now. Here's the really key thing which I think everyone's going to be really interested in hearing about. How do you go from, you were talking about 20, 30 users and, you're checking the website and 20 is at 30 and 30 is
Yeah.
to 40. So how do you go from there to 100,000, 200,000? Like, what all did you
I
do?
think,
Yeah.
yeah, it was all our dedication, and as we says, when you're truly passionate about something and you're building something, you actually forgets the journey, the actual journey, how it all happened, because I don't know the answer how it all happened, but it happened because we were actually very passionate about the thing. But yeah, we worked on some of the areas, right? So we work on the back end, we work on the content, and especially we worked on the SEO point, right?
No,
So
but I
that's how
mean,
it all.
but okay, yeah, SEO, I'm sure I was going to ask you about SEO anyway. So obviously SEO was a key part of it. But what all marketing steps did you take? Did you like do paid advertising, for example, like Facebook ads, or did you do Google ads, or did you,
No. Yeah, but this is something, a lot of people ask me, like, how do you touch those numbers without any spending any amount from your pocket? But surprisingly, 98 to 99% of our traffic were truly organic. So we were totally focusing on the SEO. We were very much aware about how SEO works, and we did not spend any amount, right? Not even 1 rupees on any paid advertisement, or anything in return. So it was all organic. We worked on our basics, right? So basics are SEO, the technical part,
Right.
and then the strategy part, how you strategize the content, how you understand the market, and that's how we ended.
Sounds like you made the right decisions there, but what about someone like, say, myself, or there's probably other people who
Yeah,
are developing an app? So the website isn't really, I mean, there's a website, but it's
yeah,
just informational. So it doesn't really help that much if there's a lot of traffic to the website. I ultimately want the app to be downloaded and installed and used. So how does
yeah,
someone who's doing that, what do they do? Because SEO doesn't really help them that much, right? So I mean, to an
yeah.
extent it does. They can go to the website and then from there download the app or something, but still. So what would be the thing for an app person to do? Like,
Yeah, I think nowadays what I can see, a lot of startups are, spending a lot of their investment into the marketing side, right? So I have seen, people are, flushing their funds like crazy for marketing. But I think one thing I can be assured about, like, you should be very much confident on your product, right? Whatever you have built, you should be very much confident on that, because your product is a game changing factor, right? I understand, nowadays it is not just the product, it is also the marketing side, how you spread your content, how you spread your product to the
right.
larger audience, right? But I think, yeah, of course, if you want to reach to the millions, right, you can spend your money on the marketing side also. I think it's necessary nowadays. But if
Yeah.
you talk about the gaming, if you talk about the website in general, so we were uh, on the SEO part, right? So nowadays it is different, right? For apps, it is different. But yeah, one key changing factor is your product, right? It should be
Yeah.
very You should be very
Right.
confident on your product,
Yeah, it's
and it
it's
should add value to the customers, to the people, and it actually it should add and help them, right?
absolutely
It's
absolutely.
as basic as.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, the product itself has to be valuable and it has to be good quality. But see, ultimately, website or app, everyone probably wants that it goes viral. Like I
Yeah,
like it, so I'll tell my friend, and then the friend will use it, then he'll tell his friends. So did that
yeah.
happen to you guys, to your website? And at what point did you realize that, oh, hey, it's going viral? Or
Yeah, so initially, we started off with we used to share our website to our WhatsApp groups, to our friends and family, that this is something that we have built on,
right,
and this is a new thing. You can, if you want to spend some time on it, you can. And so we got to know about the the CPC structure, right? If you know understand CPC. So basically, when you get a click on the advertisement from places outside India, right? So you get a good amount in revenue, right?
Right.
it's basically high CPC in other countries. It's lower in India, right?
Right.
So I had a few of my friends and me myself. I We had a lot of friends from outside India, so we used to send them our website and tell them, we have started off something, and you can, if you like the content, you can see it. If you want to click on the advertisement, you can also click on the advertisement. So we used to see our numbers, but it was not too much, $2 to $3 per day. So that's how it was. So,
Right.
but yeah,
So
that's how,
you
we, yeah,
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah.
So your revenue is basically ad revenue, or do you have other revenue channels in this? Or is it
So
mostly?
currently, to be very precise, Moro Esports has like 2 to 3 or 3 to 4 revenue models, right? So for the primary, like the majority of our revenue comes from the advertisement, right?
Good.
The secondary part is our sponsor side, who used to pay us for paid reviews. If they want some
Right.
promotion on the website and some advertisement banners on the website.
Right.
And there is other thing like we have this affiliate marketing in place. So people are also, so this is how we are working on. But majority of our revenue comes from the ads
Right.
and the promotions and
So,
sponsors.
so the ads, do they approach you? Does and I'm guessing they're probably gaming related ads only, like a, you know,
No, initially it was only gaming related customers, right? But as soon as things were getting, things were growing. We get a lot of customers from the technical areas also. Some of people have their products, right? Softwares, some apps in their hand, right? They want to promote the apps on the platform, or they want some advertisement space so that they can advertise their product on our website.
okay, so not necessarily gaming only, like they
Yeah, but we try, because we have this gaming and esports website, right? So we do not allow any other people, any other
right,
genre to enter. And so because we are very much concerned about the editorial policies at
right,
MoroEsports.
right,
Because but we get a lot of requests from other betting apps,
right.
some others. Yeah,
Yeah, betting. Well, you probably that will probably venture into the legal side of it, because if it's banned in India, then even though
yeah,
the foreign it's legal in this other country and they want to advertise, the government of India may not like it or whatever. So
yeah.
I don't even know for sure, but yeah. So yeah, so one thing I saw when I was looking at your website, your story and all of that, I think, and then your Instagram channels, I think it seems like you do a lot of events also, particularly these kind of competition events, right? Do you
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, we used to sponsors events also, because when we got our invite from NITs, the first NIT. So we got our invite from NIT Hamirpur for the very first time, and they invited us as a media partner, right? So we went there as a sponsor. So we had we got to know the real things, like how to organize an event, right? How to organize any gaming event. So we organize. So we used to cover gaming and the media coverage, right, for them. So it all started with NITs, and then we got a lot of opportunities from IITs also. So IIT Kanpur approached us, IIT Kharagpur also approached us. Then there is VIT Vellore, who they also approached us. So there are a lot of names, people came, and they wanted to have us on at their place, and they want to host some tournaments, and organize, and they want us to cover their tournaments on the website and on our social medias.
okay. So, how much would you say the events were the part of the growth? So, I mean, initially it was SEO and sort of reaching out to friends and family. Then, would you say events was a very significant thing that helped, or was it minor?
No, I don't think so. In terms of growth, they actually help you a lot. But yeah, in terms of branding, they actually makes an impact, right? Because when it comes to brand, Moro Esports, when we say we have worked with IITs and
Right.
NITs and VITs, then it actually makes a brand impression, right? It's actually makes the brand much better than before. But yeah, in terms of numbers, in terms of growth, I don't think so.
Really?
It might work for for some other people, but
Right.
for us, it did not work too much.
Nice, nice. So, what did you? What are your sort of now the current growth strategies, if I may ask? Is are you moving to a different style of marketing now, or is it still stay with SEO and let people recommend it to each other, or is
Yeah,
there?
no, we are just not limited to SEO. We are also, strategizing a lot of other things which are confidential for now.
Sure, sure.
But yeah, we are working on those part also.
So I was just for the sake of the viewers saying, ki, okay, once you reach a certain number, like so many users, so then now you got to do something different, or
Yeah,
yeah. So
but possibly might be, to scale the things, we might approach for some investment, right? Because initially we rejected a lot of investments also, because we get around like 3 to 4 investors pitching to us directly, right? And we get a lot of buyers also outside India and from India also, but we rejected them because we don't want Moro esport at the time, because we were very new and we wanted to keep our, because this is like a baby for us, right? So we wanted to keep our baby to ourselves and we wanted to work on that. But yeah, as soon as the numbers are growing, when you as an entrepreneur, you see, you actually project a lot of things in your mind, right? So you have this figure. I also have this figure in mind that I want to reach Moro esports at this particular height. But yeah, for possibly for the future, we might go for the funding.
so changing tracks a little bit. How did this affect your personal life?
Yeah.
Like I'm, stress levels and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, for personally, yeah, it did impacted me a lot, right?
Right.
So because I stopped talking to my family too much, right?
Right.
I still remember, it was the COVID time, when we started Moro esports. So I still remember, I used to go outside only for the vaccine first dose and then set the second dose, and I did not know nothing about what was happening outside my house. So I used to work at night also, from 12 a.m. to 6 in the morning. And I used to, sleep at around 7 in the morning when my mom used to wake up. So she was actually making tea in the kitchen, and I was actually going to sleep. So that's how it impacted, right? Because when you are into something, you are actually into something and you forget a lot of things.
Was there
So
a
it actually
reason?
sacrifices a lot of things.
Was there a reason you were working those hours? Like, were you interfacing with time zones in another country, or just like that? Like you were just a night person?
No, yeah, you can say that because see, when we started Moro Esports, our major traffic source was from India, right?
Huh.
But as soon as we understood the market, the CPC, and the actual things, then we realized, we should plan and strategize according to the other time zones as well. Because when it is night in India, mostly the day starts at US, right?
Right.
So that's how we also planned our team according to the time frame. So we had a lot of writers, who used to work at 12 a.m. in the night, and they used to work at 3 to 4 in the a.m. in the morning. So that's how it all started. So yeah, we kind of adjusted according to the time frames.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. No. The reason I always ask every
Yeah.
entrepreneur I speak with about the personal life, because most people who haven't gotten into a startup or entrepreneurship, they don't realize just what it is. I mean, and just
Yeah.
the stress levels and the everything. It's just yeah. I mean, I've been through all kinds of problems and challenges with my own thing, and it's the effect it has is on you, your personal life. It's pretty amazing. So, how do you did you do anything to handle that? Like things like exercise, clean eating, whatever.
I think exercise was missing at that time. So I still remember, I was not too much a bulky right at that time, but I was very lean. I still remember when I started Moro Esports, I gained a lot of weight,
Yeah.
and people used to call me that you have gained a lot of weight. But you get a, you gain a lot of weight. I used to gain a lot of weight, and then your beard is not trimmed for for
Yeah,
weeks and weeks, and you're just focusing and working on something. But
absolutely.
yeah, but apart from the basic things, it did not impact me, in terms of health, or some
Right,
serious issues, right?
right.
Because I was living in Dharamshala, and the climate and the weather was
Oh,
superb,
wow,
and
you're living in the Dharamshala at the time. That's wonderful. I want to visit
yeah,
one day. Um,
yeah,
Definitely, yeah, wow. Because that's where the Dalai Lama resides, right?
exactly,
Yeah,
yeah, true.
yeah. I definitely,
Yeah, I mean Dharamshala is a wonderful place, right? And yeah, one second now, my light just turned off.
okay, no problem.
Am I audible, right?
Yes, yes, you are. So,
Hello,
yeah, hello. Can you hear me? Hello.
am I audible, right?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah,
true.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, so Dharamsala is a good place, to be honest, right? And it's just a blessing from God for us, right? That we have taken birth in Dharamshala. And when I was building more esports, the environment was superb. The air quality was up to the mark, and you have your family with you, and all you have to do is just work on something,
Nah, I
So,
know that's beautiful.
so
So you mentioned the COVID time. How did COVID
yeah,
affect your startup? Like, was it positive or was it negative? Because maybe because of that, it could even be a positive, right? Because you kind of focus on that and nothing else. And then not only that, but the
yeah,
other people who are stuck at home, they will come to your website where ordinarily they may not have because they were busy with
yes, true.
normal life. So, how did COVID affect the whole thing?
I think COVID is truly a blessing in disguise for us, because when COVID happened, a lot of people started shifting to their mobiles, right? So there we saw a lot of influence in the mobile gaming, in the mobile section also, because people were spending a lot of their time in the mobiles. So apart from that, the gaming industry also boomed in the COVID era, right? In the COVID phase,
Right.
and that's just a blessing in disguise for us, because we
Well,
saw people. Yeah,
a lot of companies, it was good for them. Like the work at home type of companies like Zoom, the
yeah,
exercise equipment, even the pet food stuff. Like all these stocks, in the US just shot up big during the COVID time because people were spending more time at home. People were getting pets because they were at home and they were lonely, so they were getting pets, and then because of that, they were buying pet food. So the pet food company like Chewy went up
yeah,
a lot. So yeah, that's good. I mean, that's what you have to do. Even though of course COVID is a very big tragedy from the humanitarian standpoint, but
yeah,
once you're in that situation, all you can do is adapt to it and try and do your best in that situation. So if it works out for you, that's great. All
yes,
right, so this is a question I ask most people, but if it's confidential, then we can skip over it, or you can answer at a very high level, whatever you're comfortable with. Which is, what are your future plans for Moro Esports, like future growth plans? I'm guessing probably you'll have a app version of it uh, at some point.
not for now. Like we are not planning anything for the app point of view, right? But yeah, we wanted to take the website to the higher reaches, right?
Right.
Because as you can see, the website actually have more potential, right?
Yes.
I know the apps are nowadays that people are shifting to apps, but the websites actually makes more sense for me
Right.
personally.
Well, I think what most people are
Because
doing, they have both. They have the website and they have the app. But
yeah, of course, the website and the social media, right? So we also have our YouTube channel, which we started off like 6 months back. So the numbers are growing also there. So a lot of our videos went viral, we had reviews or we had something. So we are actually planning to invest more on the YouTube side,
right.
the social media side, and to the website side. We wanted to take things from the numbers from thousands to millions, billions in the future.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah. So, if I may ask now, since you're mentioning social media and all these different outlets, the main ones are, of course, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter,
Yeah,
YouTube, and LinkedIn, right? So, out of
yeah.
these, which would you say are is the ones that are the most important, or giving you the best results out of these main
I
ones?
think as for now, like yeah, as for now, the website, the Facebook, right? Instagram and YouTube, that's enough, right? That's enough for us.
No, but which one gets the most sort of hits, I guess, or the views, or
I Yeah, I think Twitter also plays an important role, right?
right,
So yeah, Twitter for sure, and the other thing is Instagram Reels, right?
right,
So Instagram Reels also get viral, and they also takes numbers from this place to this place,
right,
and of course the nowadays it is YouTube Shorts also. So
right.
instead of YouTube videos, we are also planning, and we are also investing a lot of our times in the YouTube Shorts also.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah. That sounds pretty much everyone I think would answer that. That's the case now.
Yeah.
Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, Twitter. Yeah, those are the those
Yes.
are always those are the three sort of important. Did you interface with any third parties? And the reason I'm asking that is the next question that I'm going to lead into is, did you have problems with, you know, uh, either your people that you hired or third parties or whatever not doing a good enough job or even cheating you? Because that happened to me a lot. In many instances I've been cheated, and I've had to get through that and get new people, and the financial loss and all of that. So could you speak to some of that?
Yeah, as an entrepreneur, I think the journey is not easy. Get to see a lot of things, for some things you are planned. For some things, there are a lot of things which are unexpected in the journey, right? But yeah, for the third party point of view, yes, we had a lot of issues, a lot of complaints with the third parties also, because when we were building more esports, a lot of third parties, third party softwares, third party softwares clients, they used to approach us, right, for some. And apart from that, personally, for the people that I hired, yeah, I had a lot of trouble with the people, especially in terms of the outputs and in
Yes.
terms of their honesty,
Yeah.
right? But yeah, that's a part of
That's
a journey, and I think
right.
as an entrepreneur, you're pretty much prepared for everything. So
Well, I have to say I wasn't prepared for the level of challenge I'd face in that, because even
okay,
it's very difficult to find someone who's good quality. Like, you can find people.
true.
There's too many people in the country, huge
Yeah.
population, but someone who's good and will actually do good work, it's just so tough to find. My goodness.
Yeah, as they say, the hardest part that I have experienced in my entrepreneurship journey is to find the right people to the team, because you can get a lot of people to the team, but you can't get the right people to the
Exactly, the
team.
right people. So,
That's
what?
how things are.
Any tips and suggestions to the viewers on how to do that? Like let's say we were going to hire someone. You have an open
Yeah.
job availability. So how will you go about to try, at least try and get the right person? Whether you succeed or not is another story. But what have you learned?
I think as an entrepreneur, the right thing that you can see in a person is his passion for the work, right? I always tell my team, this is not just any other job for you, and it is not just any startup for me. This is my passion, right? And I know Moro Esports it might not be the passion for you, but your job should be the passion for you, right? If you are here, if you're working here as YouTube manager, if you are here as social media manager, then your job, then your duty should be your responsibility, and your duty should be your passion, right? It should not be a job. And I always say, anyone who comes in at Moro Esports, I always says, this is not your job. This is actually, your hobby, and you're
Right.
passionate about it.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. But the trick is they might say yes, 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 it's my passion, but actually it's not. So you have to be able to tell that they are.
But I think as an entrepreneur, you figure out things, right?
Yeah.
You can get things very straight. Uh, I always says, the person who builds something, he's very smart actually, right? So he will figure out, if not today, then
Right.
the other day, that if you are actually passionate about something or not. So that's how I figure out, like, what are the good fits for, right?
That's what I do. I
So,
mean, I try people out, and then I do it on a very probationary basis. And then as soon as I figure out, okay, this is not the right person, then I just
but I think if
move
you
on.
understand delegation, right, then
Yeah.
the things are pretty much easier, right? So
Right.
as a part of it, right, a true entrepreneur should understand delegation. you know,
Absolutely. Yes, yes.
placing people at the right place for the right job. So if you understand this art, then you can actually take people and get the best out of them, without even you having any complaints from them.
Right. Okay, great, great, great. So I just at this point, I think I don't really have much more for you. Did you have any last words or some final advice for our viewers and people who are thinking of doing a startup, who have started the first steps towards a
Yeah,
startup?
I think, yeah, just stay passionate. I think entrepreneurship is not very hard. It is actually the easiest thing, right? From inside it, from outside it might look very difficult and might look very challenging. Of course it is challenging, but when you are passionate about something, suppose if you are passionate about entrepreneurship, right, so you will tackle a lot of things which are way beyond your capacities. So just stay passionate, stay hungry, and have a bigger picture in mind, and just manifest your whole time, dreaming,
Right.
sweating, all the same thing.
Yeah, yeah, that's good advice. That's good advice. So thanks a lot, Mohit. It was really great speaking with you. That was
Yeah,
very useful information. And for the viewers, Mohit's information and contact and information about his startup will be in the description below this video, so you can find out more about his stuff and what he's up to and his startup, which I think is great. And I'll definitely be going back to his website multiple times because I'm a gamer myself. So thanks a lot, Mohit,
okay,
and
great.
hopefully maybe we'll do this again in the future.
Yeah, of course, I'm also very excited to see how, what, and what are the things you are building in. And actually hopefully if somewhere someday I can contribute to your vision, to your mission, what you have in your mind. But yeah, it's a good podcast, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
thanks for having me here. It's my first time facing camera and talking about my entrepreneurship journey, on the camera, because I had a lot of talks with people off camera, and a lot with my friends, but yeah, this is the first time that I'm having it.
Oh, well,
And thanks for
you
having
were
me.
like a seasoned professional, so I wouldn't have known. I wouldn't have known it was your first time because you did so good. So, anyway, great.
Thanks,
So,
thanks.
okay, goodbye, everyone, and see you in the next video.
Yeah, goodbye,
Bye
everyone.
bye.